Tutti tutti and welcome to Facebook Live with Louise. That's me in the Dimi Depew kitchen. And this is take two on the Insalata di Patate. So I did this on Sunday, went smoothly with the mere fact that I didn't record. So enough of that stuff. We're going live because this is an awesome potato salad recipe. And since we have a holiday weekend coming up, I thought some of you might want to try a new twist on the traditional, typical potato salad that you take to a potluck or a picnic or barbecue or whatever. Anyway, so let's begin with making the marinade the dressing marinade thing that's gonna go over our boiled potatoes. So, like with any good Italian recipe, we're starting off with the olive oil, and y'all have heard me talk a bunch about how much I love this olive oil. It's one of my favorites. And so I'm just gonna, oh, here, let's give you a little look here. There we go. So I'm just gonna eyeball this, and it probably is like about a quarter of a cup, maybe a third of a cup. There we go. We're gonna just put a little olive oil in that dish, in this bowl for mixing. And then next, I'm gonna add a little shallot. And so you can see that these are smaller. They look like red onions. I really kind of wonder, is it really a red onion that's just still a baby and it gets a different name, kind of like you do with sheep and lamb? Anyway, so we're just gonna do a quick little slicey slice on the shallot. And you can see that one of the things I like about shallot is that when it has a similar taste to red onion, it has the color of red onion, which really makes for a pretty contrast on the potatoes. And the other thing is there's not as much of it. It's not as big. So we can just slice and dice, put that all aside. And you know what? Since I have my mezzaluna right here, we're going to mezzaluna this. Oh my gosh, I love this mezzaluna. And then so we'll get this into little pieces that are going to be added to the olive oil. So it's great to have you here. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment. I'm not sure I'll be able to see them, but I'll answer them later. So this dish, oh gosh, the shallots, although using my mezzaluna, the fumes from the shallot are getting to my eyes. I'm gonna look like I'm sobbing over here. So this recipe initially came from Giovanni, and he learned it from his friend Angelo. So this is like an authentic Sicilian dish that my Sicilian friends shared with me. Oh my gosh, woo! That shallot. So we're just gonna pick that up and add it to the olive oil like so. Oops, let's go back so you can see what I'm doing here. Just add that to the olive oil. We're gonna let that sit for a little minute. I'm gonna rinse off my hands. Next, we're gonna add a little lemon zest and lemon juice. I'm just like, oh, I just love lemons. And one of the things about lemons is they get used a lot in the Sicilian recipes. Whew, the onions, oh my gosh, my eyes. I'm gonna put it back down on that. So there's all kinds of ways to do this. I just like run the grater, and this is a grater, I use it on cheese too, that just gets run across the skin of the lemon. And oh my gosh, the other fun thing about using lemon, not only does it super brighten up and kind of freshen up and lighten up the potato salad, which when you use mayo can get a little heavy. That's the other thing, is like with this potato salad, there's no mayo involved, which means if you're taking it to an outdoor picnic, you don't have to be quite as concerned about the heat and what's going to happen to the potato salad as a result of being unrefrigerated for a little bit as you prepare your barbecue or your potluck picnic. So we're going to get all the fun little skins off there, because there's nothing like a little lemon zest to enhance the yum factor. I love lemon on stuff. I love lemon on pasta. Love lemon on my tortillas. Love lemon. Okay, so there's that. Get that all in there. You can see I'm just using one lemon. I'd like to use Meyer lemons. That's my preference. However, there weren't any Meyer lemons at the grocery store. So I also know that they're not in season right now, so that's probably why they were hard to find at the grocery store. So I see a few little patches of ungrated lemon skin. We'll get that all in there. Way to go. There we are. And then next I'll just use the juice of half this little guy. I'm going to give it a little stab to soften up and break up the fibers of the lemon to get the most out of the juice. There we go. And just squeeze that in all over your shallot, the olive oil, and the zest. Bam! Oh, we have a few little seeds in there. I'll fish those out later. Okay, so that's it. We're just going to add a little salt and pepper and then some flat leaf parsley, also known as Italian parsley, or in Italian it's called prezzemolo. So let's give this a nice little healthy dose of salt. Bam. And then some pepper. We're going to let that sit for a little bit, and then we're going to address and deal with the potatoes next. So there's this. There we go. Let's grab our little bunch of parsley. And I always keep my parsley. I always cut the bottom off when I bring the parsley home from the grocery store or the market, and then put it in a glass, a small glass with water, kind of like I do with fresh flowers. It helps keep the parsley a little perkier and also a little fresher. So we're just going to twist off a handful of parsley leaves. I think I want a few little more. Woo! Let's talk about something else that's all fresh and bright smelling, and that is fresh parsley. So I swear the mezzaluna is the way to deal with parsley. I don't know if you've ever tried to chop parsley with a knife, but it's kind of laborious, tedious, and annoying the way the leaves stick. But here we go. This is like chop, chop, chop in no time. Little pieces so that we have lots of parsley throughout the dressing that we're going to pour on top of the potatoes in a minute. I know this is like super quick and super easy. If you've ever made traditional mayonnaise or even German potato salad, you know it's quite time consuming. This one is a lot quicker. And you know, the first time I had this in Palermo with my Sicilian friends, they served it with cozze, which are mussels. So we had it with mussels, and then we're gonna add this to the mixture. And I'm gonna get a little fork. We're gonna give that a good stir. So yeah, the first time I had this was we had it with cozze. Another time it was served up when Angelo made it. So Giovanni showed me the first time, and then Angelo came over and gave us a little lesson on his version of this potato salad, and we actually had it with shrimp on kebabs. That was delicious too. Potatoes are served traditionally with octopus, but given I live in the Midwest and I don't have access to octopus, not to mention it's not a familiar dish for a number of Americans, we'll skip the octopus portion of this. So there you go. You can see lots of olive oil, plenty of shallots. Oh, let's add one other thing, a little garlic. Here's a little trick. The way to, even when it calls for garlic that needs to be chopped, I just put it in one of these little mincer things because it gets really nice and small. My hands don't have to touch it. And I just squeeze in a little bit, and then we'll see how the pieces of garlic and the shallots have it out on the flavor profile on this. And you see there's a little left hanging out. Just going to use the tip of my knife to get it in there. Bam. Give another mix. Okay, so let's put this aside and let it kind of sit and marinate and soak up. Oh, this smells so good. Whoa. All right, let's put this aside for a second here. Let me show you what I did with the potatoes. So I used about 5 potatoes for this. You can gauge maybe like 1 potato per person. I sliced up 4 of them ahead of time. So these speaking of ahead of time, these can be done ahead of time. In fact, you can boil them either the day before, earlier in the day, and then put them in the fridge and let them cool so that when it comes time to cut them, you can handle them. And one of my favorite ways to, here, let me show you this. One of my favorite ways to boil potatoes is I just throw them in a pot of salted water and then turn up the flame till it's boiling. Then I turn it down to a medium flame and cook them for like around 10 minutes. And then after that, I just cover them and turn the heat off and let them sit there. And so they slowly cook so they don't get overcooked or they don't get mushy. And you'll see this in a second when I slice up this last one to show you. Just want you all to see kind of the texture that I'm using Yukon Golds. I've used red potatoes. Wasn't thrilled with the texture of the red potato or how it turned out. So I'm kind of sticking with the Yukon Golds because these have been consistently turning out that I can slice through the skin without tearing it up. It's not overcooked. The texture is nice and firm and will hold up to traveling in the car or hanging out in a serving dish while you wait to eat. Okay, so here we go. There are the 5 potatoes that I cooked up earlier in the day. And now all we're going to do is, I'm going to rinse my hands first. Ooh. And we're going to spoon this dressing over the potatoes. Let's get a little spoon here. So, I don't know, what was that? Maybe 10 minutes? Yeah. And when you're boiling potatoes, you absolutely can be doing other things. So this is like an awesome dish that is delicious, beautiful, and doesn't require a lot of effort or skill on anyone's part. It's helpful to have a sharp knife, but aside from that, there we go. You can see just kind of drizzling the whole shebang. And look at how pretty! I love these colors! There's a little bit of the reddish purple from the shallot. Of course, the green from the parsley. And then the olive oil brings like this little hint of sort of green backdrop. And then our lemon. And the garlic's pretty invisible in this. So here we go. I think I'm going to taste this to see if it needs, before I serve it up, I'll taste it to see if it needs any more salt or pepper. And then voila, there, it sits. You can cover this up, wait till dinner time, wait till you get to the picnic, salt and pepper once you do, and that's it. And since it's not really 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you notice I'm not drinking. Okay, so let me have a little taste of this to see if it needs any other little flavor. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I think I like this better than the way it turned out on Sunday. Oh my gosh, this is delicious. Please post photos if you try this, or let me know how you like it, or your friends or family, or whoever you serve this to likes this particular dish. And again, a cool Italian take on an American picnic classic, potato salad. Enjoy. Talk to you later. See you next week. Ciao.